We're doing 2 recipes today that are going to be part of a July 4th menu. One is a reimagining of potato salad, a classic potato salad. I have called it No-Tato salad, and that is going to be made with cauliflower instead of potatoes. And the idea is that cauliflower can kind of mimic the texture of the potatoes, but it is not a starchy food, so if you're watching carbs, that's a really good choice to have. And the other thing that I did in the reimagining is I made it completely plant-based. There's not going to be eggs in it, and eggs are very expensive right now, so I thought this would be a good choice. And there's not going to be mayonnaise in it because it's very processed, and if you have things like high blood pressure or high cholesterol, diabetes, any of those things, one of the things that you want to watch about is the oils that you're having. And so we are going to use this avocado instead, so that you're getting a whole food fat, which includes fiber and other nutrients instead of the oils and the other additives that mayonnaise might have. And then the other thing that we're going to do for dessert is we're going to make a pizza. And now that's going to stay in there for a minute. And what's important about when we do a blanch and then we do the ice bath, the reason that we do this is because 1, we want to keep the food bright, and 2, it immediately stops it from cooking so it doesn't get mushy. How's everyone doing? Are you all caught up with me? I used my knife and I hit it in the center of the pit to take it out. This is looking really good and creamy. And I'm going to turn my flame on so that it spreads everything on the bottom of the pan. And we're going to let it cook for a couple of minutes. Start to smell a really nice aroma, that toasted aroma. And I know meat eaters won't agree with me, but I think that this is a nice replacement for the bacon. And I make sure that my fingers are curled so that I don't cut them, and then just push them through. And if you have a garden, you can just stick these, or a pot filled with soil, you can just stick these into the soil and they will grow. I make sure I use the back of the knife, not the front. The front you're going to ruin the knife, so you go to the back of the knife and you just scrape it in. And that helps preserve your knives. In chef school, one of the things that you learn is how much every teaspoon of food costs, right? So if you leave over too much, then you're losing money. So I think I've done a good job of emptying out my food processor. What's great about the salad is on your barbecue, you might be cooking your hamburgers and your steaks and chicken, whatever it is that you're having, but you might have some vegetarian, vegan friends that come along, and you're definitely going to have something that you can serve them that tastes yummy. And then in terms of serving it, you can dress it up by putting some arugula on the plate. You now have No-Tato salad. This is a watermelon pizza, and I had a lot of fun coming up with a really healthy way to transform this recipe. Watermelon, if you don't choose them right, they're really mealy and don't taste very good. You want to pick up the watermelon and you want it to feel heavier than the size that it is. You want to knock on it and it wants to sound very hollow. The end of it, you want it to have kind of like this yellow sunspot, and then the stripes on it, you want them to be very pronounced. And that gives you a good watermelon. What you need for this dish is you need an orange and a zester if you have one. Then you need some vanilla, and you need water, and then you need the cashews and the blueberries. Does everyone have what they need? And then the next thing I'm gonna do is I am going to do the zesting of the orange. I'm going to just rub back and forth. And of course I wash off the orange before doing this. I tend to wash off everything before I cook them, including onions, garlic. I just don't know who's been handling things. When you're zesting on your own, you want to get to just where it's starting to get lighter, but not till you get to the pith, which is very, very white and bitter. And I just wanted to show you, these happen to be my favorite dates. They're just so soft and delicious. And when you're buying the dates, especially if you're buying them in bulk and you can choose which ones you want to get the ones that look moist. They are sweet and they are a sugar that we're putting into our mix. But just like the idea behind using the avocado, you're using a whole food that has all the nutrients and fiber as well. We're gonna make some noise. You ready? The cashew cream recipe makes extra. So it's good on this watermelon. It actually happens to be good on other things too, like toast. So you have extra, especially if you put out a couple of slices and people are really enjoying it and you want to make more, you now have more. We're gonna spread it out, and you want to, cover the pizza, but you also want to leave enough of the red showing out so that you're going to get the red, white, and blue effect. We're going to take, this is a half a cup of blueberries in here. We're going to take half of it and we're going to put it onto the pizza. And then, depending on if you want to have small pieces or big pieces, I like to cut it into 6. And now I have 6 slices of pizza. I wish you all a fabulous, joyful July 4th. Guess what I just got to do? I just finished giving a work wellness virtual food demo that was so great. I was provided some recipes to be healthy, and they were open to the way I wanted to transform them to really actually be healthy. And I showed them 2 different ways to make a delicious, healthy dessert of a plant-based watermelon pizza, as well as what I call a no-tato salad. So taking that potato salad and using cauliflower instead. I did not invent this idea, I just improved it so that it's completely plant-based and using whole food for fat instead of things like mayonnaise. And this pizza has cashew cream instead of low-fat this and high-fat that. And I've got to tell you, it is yummy.